Alright, so for this video, I have decided to react, like, show you guys my live reaction to the 2023 Republican presidential debates. Now, at first, I thought that I wasn't going to watch this at all because, of course, President Trump decided not to attend this debate, and I think future debates. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't skip out anymore. But I did a video on why I disagree with him doing that. But that's the reason why I decided not to watch the Republican debates. Another reason why I don't like really watch. I've never really watched the presidential debates or any political debates. Period. Just because other than President Trump, I've never really seen an American politician that holds a candle to him or can I've never. I mean, there are good politicians, obviously, but just none that have stood out to me like President Trump. So I don't really, watch that sort of thing. I mean, maybe I should because I am interested in political science. But anyways, I'm rambling. Back to the topic at hand. I am going to be reacting this time to the debates. Now, I didn't watch the full thing, but I did watch some of it. I'm not sure how far I went because I just restarted it, so I don't even know where I left off. But maybe I think I got through close to half or a little more than half. I'm not sure. But I think I did finish half of this video. So we were talking about things like Ukraine, homelessness, crime, but I don't want to spoil it. Some of you guys watching this may have already seen it, watched the full thing, unlike me. So maybe this will be your second time watching or listening to it. I'm just gonna have you guys listen to it. I'm gonna watch and listen, but mostly listen along with you guys. And I might be pausing in between because it is about 2 hours long. So I might react to the whole thing. Uh, I don't know if my laptop will record for 2 hours, but let's see. I think I've done an hour-long video on this on my channel before. Anyway, I'm gonna get into it because it is a really long video, and I don't want to waste too much time talking. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Pausing in between just to give you my reaction, my view on what they're saying, like my input on what the candidates are saying. Yeah, but from what I've heard, none of them it can even come close to challenging President Trump. I do agree with like I don't consider myself Republican or Democrat. I've stated before that I'm independent, but I lean more to what is it, the right than the left. So I do agree with a lot of what they're saying. But yeah, I'm just gonna get into this video. I don't agree with everything they're saying, especially when it comes to their opponent, President Trump. But let's see what they're talking about. Like I said, I'm not gonna show it um, because if I could insert those reaction videos where they insert the actual video and so the audience can watch along with you and react with you. So I can't do that. I mean, I can, but I don't think I have the editing software for that. So you're just gonna listen to it while I watch it on my phone. Hopefully you can hear it. I'm gonna turn the volume up. And yeah, here we go. Here on our debate stage tonight, they are here to lay out their vision for America as they battle for the GOP nomination. Good evening, everybody. I'm Martha McCall. And I'm Brett Baer. This is the very same stage on which the Republican choice for president will accept the party's nomination next summer. Fox News is hosting the debates by the order they sit in the polls, with the highest polling candidates in the middle standing center stage. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. I gotta add. Sorry, you know how YouTube is. Just gonna skip it. It's a long video, so there might be several ads, but I'll just skip it along the way. I can't believe Christie's running again.
Some ground rules for tonight. We'll ask the questions, and then candidates get 1 minute to answer. If someone is singled out, you get 30 seconds to respond. And when the time runs out, we all will hear this. Very pleasant.
So tonight, these candidates have a big opportunity to break out of the pack and to explain why they are best prepared to be the Republican choice for president. At a time when the likely Democrat nominee, President Joe Biden, is working to convince the country that with Bidenomics, things are looking up.
By the way, if you guys are looking for the full debate and you haven't been able to find it like me, I struggled finding it. But this is the last time I'll be interrupted. I mean, not the last time, but sorry. Nikki Haley, who's participating in Republican debate, she posted the full video. So if you want to watch it on YouTube, look up her channel, Nikki Haley, and she's got the full video posted. That's what I'm watching now. All right, back to it.
On my plan, Bidenomics. I'm not sure they meant it in a totally complimentary way at the time. But guess what? It's working.
Is he always whispering like that?
Is it? More than 65% of Americans say the country's headed in the wrong direction. And here's the reality for some voters we talked to here in Wisconsin this week.
We have noticed a dramatic increase in prices at the grocery store just across the board.
Gas is high and food is high. A lot of people out here homeless because they can't buy food.
It's tough when you got mortgage rates at 7-8% versus 2 to 3. It's just you can't afford the house anymore.
Inflation is ridiculous. It's killing us out here.
We sit here tonight. The number one song on the Billboard chart is called Rich Men North of Richmond. It is by a singer from Farmville, Virginia, named Oliver Anthony. His lyrics speak of alienation, of deep frustration.
I don't know if I should skip the intro and just get into the debate.
Washington, D.C. is about 100 miles north of Richmond.
Yeah, not interested in that. Let me just skip this. Okay, here we go. I don't want to skip too much. Let's get to the question. Oh, sorry about the swearing.
So, Governor DeSantis, why is this song striking such a nerve in this country right now? What do you think it means?
Our country is in decline. This decline is not inevitable. It's a choice. We need to send Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline. And it starts with understanding we must reverse Bidenomics so that middle-class families have a chance to succeed again. We cannot succeed as a country if you are working hard and you can't afford groceries, a car, or a new home, while Hunter Biden can make hundreds of thousands of dollars on lousy paintings. That is wrong. We also cannot succeed when the Congress spends trillions and trillions of dollars. Those rich men north of Richmond have put us in this situation. And finally, we need to lower your gas prices. We're going to open up all energy production. We will be energy dominant again in this country. I showed it could be done in the state of Florida. I pledge to you as your president, we will get the job done, and I will not let you down.
Hope the volume isn't too loud for you guys.
Christine, do you agree with Governor DeSantis just said there, and why would you be better on the economy than him?
Well, look, I do agree predominantly
concurrently with what Governor DeSantis just laid out. I think that if you asked every one of us up here, that we would agree predominantly with what he just laid out. Here's the difference. The difference is that we're going to have to work and make sure that we sell these ideas and we be able to put ourselves in a position where we get a majority of the vote, not only by winning the Congress and the Senate in 24, but also by having someone who's had the experience of doing it. Now, I was elected as a conservative Republican in a blue state with 61% of the vote, with a Democratic legislature against me the entire time. And we still, through hard, strong decision-making, brought them around to our point of view. We cut taxes in New Jersey. We cut debt in New Jersey. We made sure that each and every time we were confronted with bad Democratic ideas, we stood and stopped them. And when there were good ideas, we brought people together to make progress going forward. Truth and accountability are the things we need to do to fight waste. And I'd say the last thing is this, Brett. We cannot sit by any longer and allow the kind of spending that's going on in Washington, because every dollar they spend is a dollar that these people are not allowed to spend on their children and their grandchildren. It's robbing our country, and it's wrong.
Well, Governor, let me just follow up very quickly. New Jersey,
I agree so far.
your governor, had the second lowest credit rating in the nation after Illinois, and it was downgraded 11 times.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you inherit a blue state that has done that. But when you look at what we did on debt, Brett, in that state, we cut debt in that state, debt that had been left to us by 3 Democratic gubernatorial predecessors of mine who ran up that debt tremendously. And what you also saw us do was to cut the unemployment rate in half. It was over 10% when I became governor in 2010. What we also did was cut pension payments to public employees to make sure that taxpayers were not being soaked by a public employee union system that was killing the taxpayer.
Thank you, Governor.
Tim Scott, Senator Scott, excuse me. The song also goes after welfare programs. As a senator, now President Biden argued for freezing federal spending, this was back in the 80s, and dealing with sacred cows. He does not talk about that anymore. You have been a senator, though, for 10 years. So what have you done to rein in the increasing size of government?
Well, thank you for the question. Over the last several years, I've had an opportunity to vote against spending package after spending package after spending package. What we also need to understand is that Joe Biden's Bidenomics has led to the loss of $10,000 of spending power for the average family. When you see 16% inflation, your gas is up 40%, your food is up 20%, your electricity is up 20%. We can stop that by turning the spigot off in Washington, sending the money back to the states, and allowing the decisions to be made at their own houses. I helped write the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017. We cut taxes for a single mom like the one that raised me by 70%, for dual households by 60%, returning to the average family $4,000. If you don't send it to Washington, we can't spend it. That's good news for the American people.
Okay, but just to follow up, you did.
Okay, so we're 8 minutes, almost 10 minutes in. So far they've asked 3 candidates questions about the current economy, which they refer to as "quote unquote" Bidenomics. I think that's what they said. And they mentioned at the beginning that 65% of Americans do not agree with the way the country is going right now. I'm not sure that was overall or just the way as far as the economy is concerned. But I mean, so far, like, I'm agreeing with these 3 candidates are saying about the economy going down the toilet and Biden continuing to spend unnecessary money while Americans continue to struggle to make enough money to keep up with inflation and high gas prices and high cost of living and all this stuff. So I agree so far. That's what I have to say. All right.
Trump administration, you approved 4.4 trillion, 4.1 trillion, 1.7 trillion over the course of that administration. That's a lot of money.
There's no doubt that during the Trump administration, when we were dealing with the COVID virus, we spent more money. But here's what happened at the end of our time in the majority. We had low unemployment, record low unemployment, 3.5% for the majority of the population, 70-year low for women. African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians had an all-time low, but our inflation was at 2%. Under Joe Biden, we've seen the exact opposite. We've seen inflation explode, which led to 12 Federal Reserve increases that's devastating home buyers today.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you're listening to these answers.
If I may,
No, hold on one second. We're going to.
So I don't know if I get a chance to respond.
He didn't mention you specifically, but we'll be with you in a second, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Ramaswamy, listening to all of this, why should voters choose you over more experienced politicians on this stage? You're basically, a blank slate for people. You're 38 years old. You've said that you only voted in 2 presidential elections before this moment, this political race.
So first, let me just address a question that is on everybody's mind at home tonight. Who the heck is this skinny guy with a funny last name, and what the heck is he doing in the middle of this debate stage? I'll tell you, I'm not a politician, Brett. You're right about that. I'm an entrepreneur. My parents came to this country with no money 40 years ago. I have gone on to found multi-billion-dollar companies. I did it while marrying my wife, Apurva, raising our 2 sons, following our faith in God. That is the American dream. And I am genuinely worried that that American dream will not exist for our 2 sons and their generation unless we do something about it. And I do think, Brett, it's going to take an outsider. Because for a long time, we have professional politicians in the Republican Party who have been running from something. Now is our moment to start running to something. To our vision of what it means to be an American today. If you have a broken car, you don't turn over the keys to the people who broke it again. You hand it over to a new generation to actually fix the problem. That's why I'm in this race and we're just getting warmed up.
All right, so you, Governor Haley. So why are you better positioned to turn around this economy that we've heard all of these voters talking about tonight than Mr. Ramaswamy, who is a successful entrepreneur nationally right now? He's beating you in the polls.
So, interrupting again, they said, like, when I was looking up articles on the debate, they were saying that this guy, Ramaswamy, I know I'm butchering that last name. I just saw a glimpse of it. I believe he's Indian. But I'm trying to. Okay, well, you guys can look him up, but they said that he's a strong candidate, and they also said Nikki Haley was another strong. Wait, was it Nikki Haley or was it? Yeah, I believe it was Nikki Haley, another strong candidate, and they were talking about Vice Pence, how he's normally quiet and he had like a lot of input, but yeah, not much to say so far, but still got a couple hours to go. So let's get back to Haley. I think she's talking next.
I don't care about polls. What I care about the fact is that no one is telling the American people the truth. The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us too. When they passed that $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus bill, they left us with 90 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. No one has told you how to fix it. I'll tell you how to fix it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in. And
okay, I'm gonna stop it right there because millions of people benefited from the stimulus package that came after COVID hit, and what was it? Me included, I benefited from it, and I know I really needed the money. Like a lot of other people needed it. They gave it to the people who actually needed it. So, like, if you were making above a certain, above a limit that they said that, then you wouldn't get the stimulus money. But everybody else, like, pretty much needed. Like, a lot of people, she's not mentioning that, a lot of people had to, were put out of work because they got sick from COVID, so they couldn't make money. So, they're the ones who benefited the most from the stimulus package. then you got the vulnerable groups. And you got the frontline workers. Um, so a lot of people benefited from the stimulus package who really needed it. And even President Trump himself, when he approved, um, I think it was the second. I think we got more than two stimulus packages. But when he approved one of them, he said that Congress needed to um, give the American people more money, stimulus money. So I mean, I agreed. Um, she's saying it's too much spending, and a lot of Republicans who were against giving Americans more stimulus money were saying that because they were saying we were what was it? We're in too much debt. We're gonna go into a recession. All the stuff that never even happened when people got the stimulus money. But they want to spend all this money on Ukraine, but um, then it's a problem when you actually need to spend money on your own citizens and help them. But I'm gonna get back to I just disagree with her on there, so.
To make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars, it's not their dollars. And while they're all saying this, you have Ron DeSantis, you've got Tim Scott, you've got Mike Pence. They all voted to raise the debt, and Donald Trump added $8 trillion to our debt. And our kids are never going to forgive us for this. And so at the end of the day, you look at the 2024 budget, Republicans asked.
I don't know how accurate that is. Him adding did she say $8 trillion to the national debt? If I recall, the gas prices were a lot lower than they are under Biden's administration. The economy was a lot more stable than it is right now. We've had what they say we've had the best economy in decades. I think it was 50 years or something. The unemployment rate was really low. There was a lot of jobs, I believe. And inflation definitely wasn't at the level that it is right now. So I don't know about him adding to the national debt, but I know that overall, under President Trump administration, our economy was the best it has been in many years. But back to her.
$7.4 billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant in the White House.
Vice President Pence. You mentioned that 54% of voters say the cost of groceries is a, quote, major problem for them.
Right.
You blame the Biden administration spending for that increase. But as vice president, your administration spent more than any prior, $7.8 trillion added to the national debt, $3.5 trillion of that before COVID. So does that mean that you're part of the spending problem?
Well, first off, thanks for the question. Thanks for letting me respond to reference to our administration's record. I'm incredibly proud of the record of the Trump-Pence administration. I mean, in 4 short years, we rebuilt our military. We revived our economy. We unleashed American energy. And we appointed 3 conservatives to the Supreme Court that gave the American people a new beginning for the right to life. Now, Martha, you asked earlier who's the most best prepared for this job. And I must say, with all due respect to all of my friends on the stage, and even to one that's probably looking on, I think unquestionably I am the best prepared, the most tested, the most qualified and proven conservative in this race. I was a leader in the Congress of the United States. I led Indiana where we balanced budgets and had a AAA bond rating when I was governor. As Vice President of the United States, we spent funding to backfill on the military cuts of the Obama administration, and then we were there in the worst pandemic in 100 years. All that being said, I was the first person in this race to say that we've got to deal with the long-term national debt issues. You got people on this stage that won't even talk about issues like Social Security and Medicare. In fact, you recently said
A president can't do everything. Well, I got news for you, Vivek. I've been in the hallway. I've been in the West Wing. A president of the United States has to confront every crisis facing America. I will put our nation back on the path to growth and prosperity and restore fiscal responsibility, just as I did in Congress and as governor,
Mr. Vice President,
and when I was vice president.
But
hold on.
you were named earlier. I'm going to give Vivek first.
We'll get to both.
Yeah, this isn't that complicated, guys. Unlock American energy. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. Put people back to work by no longer paying them more to stay at home. Reform the
Okay, I'll stop him there too. There's a lot he just mentioned, the fracking. Okay, so from my understanding, that's when I believe drilling is involved, when they drill for oil, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's what the meaning of fracking means. I do not agree with that. See, this is where I disagree with Republicans. They're big into, the energy and taking advantage of Earth's resources to harvest that energy. But a lot of the times it's leading to other problems. And I don't know, it's there's nothing wrong with how can I put this? I don't believe in building our nation's energy source by abusing the planet is what I'm trying to say. So you can't just recklessly drill in the earth. And if it's, I don't know, some of the arguments against fracking, I know there's some negative arguments against it, how it's harmful to, pretty much harmful to, I forgot, but what else did he say? Let me go back a little bit, because he said a lot. We're at 15 minutes now. I think I might make a part 2 to this instead of just doing one whole part. All right.
Unlock American energy. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear.
Okay, drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. Oh, definitely no on the nuclear, but let me back up. Okay, drill, frack, coal. I mean, we need to this is where I kind of side with the Democrats, not 100%, because there's one extreme, his, especially with the nuclear, that's really extreme. And then on the Democrat side, you have their extreme that we should just go completely green, and I mean that would be fine if if you weren't penalizing people for the smallest things that don't really harm the planet that much. So some Democrats, they've made ridiculous arguments like no driving at all or something. I don't know, but I was gonna say the Democrats have made some ridiculous arguments, and the Republicans have made arguments when it comes to our energy that I don't agree with. And so, yeah, I don't really I don't know, because how else are we supposed to get our oil and things like that? I believe that. I mean, it's 2023. We need to progress. We need to advance beyond these sources of energy that are contributing to the pollution, carbon dioxide, the pollution of our planet. And I'm sorry to sound like a Democrat now. But when it comes to our planet, I don't believe like the drilling and the coal and everything. That's not. I mean, it's giving us what we need, but in return, it's hurting the planet. So there's like this. There's like this like trade off that's not balanced. It's like it's a bad trade off. Um, so what was I saying? The drilling, the coal, the nuclear. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but um, well, 30 minutes already. I won't focus too much on the time. Like I said, I'm gonna make a part two, but I don't like. I believe that our nuclear missile should be what's it called? D something. Like we should denuclear. Is that a word? Denuclearize? I don't know. Like shut it down, basically. But yeah, I'm not like I'm not. I'm against war, against nuclear, against all of that. But I'm gonna get back to what he was saying. But I just disagree there.
Put people back to work by no longer paying them more to stay at home. Reform the U.S. Fed, stabilize the U.S. dollar, and go to war. The only war that I will declare as U.S. president will be the war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations acting like a wet blanket on the economy. So I'm not sure I exactly understood Mike Pence's comment, but I'll let you all parse that out. For me, it's pretty simple. That's something a U.S. president can do with focus, and I'll deliver on it.
Well, let me explain it to you. If I can. I'll go slower this time.
I sometimes struggle with the reading
Look,
comprehension.
I was a House conservative leader before it was cool. I actually pushed a Deficit Reduction Act. That was the last time we actually reduced the national debt in the United States when I was the leader of House conservatives. I balanced budgets and cut taxes when I was governor. I mean, look, Joe Biden has weakened this country at home and abroad. Now is not the time for on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in a rookie. We don't need to bring in people without experience.
Hold on, in 30 seconds when you have a rebuttal, okay? And you are up, Governor DeSantis.
So here's the thing. Why are we in this mess? Part of it, and a major reason, is because how this federal government handled COVID-19 by locking down this economy. It was a mistake. It should have never happened. And in Florida, we led the country out of lockdown.
Yeah, I remember that. Everything was locked down. You couldn't do anything. And I don't know. I mean, people couldn't work, but I mean, like it wasn't completely shutting down the economy because people could still work from home. So, like, based on the science, when people are in large groups, like at the office, like in buildings, just congregating together, just like people are close to each other, and like it's difficult to keep 6 feet apart. You guys remember the whole deal. That's how the virus spread, and since it was killing so many people, government had to take actions to like slow the spread of COVID-19. Whether you believe in the science or not, whether you believe in COVID-19 or not, this is what had to be done. So yeah, a lot of people were protesting. I remember that against shutting down. Well, not really shutting down the economy because things were happening. They just couldn't. They couldn't happen like normally because we were in a pandemic. So anything was but normal. So we couldn't operate how we usually did. Like a lot of things changed. The economy was included, but it wasn't completely shut down. We just had to do things differently. So I believe it was necessary. I disagree with him and with other people who protested against, temporarily, I don't want to use the word shut down because it wasn't ever shut down, but like temporarily, like doing things differently. It was necessary. He may disagree, but I believe it was necessary.
Kept our state free and open, and I can tell you this, as your president, I will never let the deep state bureaucrats lock you down. You don't take somebody like Fauci and coddle him. You bring Fauci in, you sit him down, and you say, Anthony, you are fired.
You know what? We're going to bring in...
I just want to respond to Mike for 1 second because he invoked me back. Listen, now that everybody's gotten their memorized, pre-prepared slogans out of the way, we can actually have a real discussion now. The reality and the fact of the matter is...
Was that one of yours?
Not really, Mike, actually. We're just going to have some fun tonight. And the reality is, you have a bunch of people, professional politicians, super PAC puppets, following slogans handed over to them by their 400-page super PACs last week. The real choice we face in this primary is this. Do you want a super PAC puppet, or do you want a patriot who speaks the truth? Do you want incremental reform, which is what you're hearing about, or do you want revolution?
Okay.
And I stand on the side of the American revolution.
We're going to take control back here.
We need everyone to have a moment on the economy.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. There are two people who have not. We're going to get back to that. We are. There are two people who we have not heard from yet. So let's hear from Governor Burgum and then from Governor Hutchinson on the economy, sir.
Well, great. Thank you, Martha. And of course, I'm from a town of 300 people. It's a big deal to make it on this stage with all these folks. But when they were all wishing me well, and I think I took them a little too literally when they said, go to Milwaukee and break a leg. But I do want to say on this, we're missing something. We can't just talk about the Biden economy because the economy, energy, and national security are all tied together. Of course, we're paying too much for our energy in our state, in our country right now. But part of the reason why is because of the Biden policies on energy. We've got a plan right now, the $1.2 trillion of Green New Deal spending buried in the Inflation Creation Act is something that is just subsidizing China. If we're going to stop buying oil from the Middle East and start buying batteries from China, we're just trading OPEC for Sinopec. And then belatedly, the Biden administration says, no, we're going to put sanctions on Russian oil. Well, we put sanctions on Russian oil, well, then it's 20% off. Who's buying it? China. So if you buy a battery in this country, if you buy a solar panel, it's being produced in a plant in China powered by coal, or it's being powered by oil and gas at 20% off. And every farmer in this country would like to buy diesel at 20% off, just like they're buying it in China.
Governor Hutchinson,
Thank you, Grant. Delighted to be here tonight. And let me just tell you that I'm a pro-life governor from a conservative state that have a conservative record in which I lowered taxes in Arkansas as governor. I created a $2 billion surplus that I passed over to my successor, and I made sure that we shrunk the size of government. We have 14% fewer state employees in Arkansas after I left government than when I took over as governor 8 years ago. I tell that because that's what we need in Washington, D.C. We need somebody who can actually constrain the growth of the federal government, that can actually reduce the size, and I've pledged to reduce by 10% our federal non-defense workforce. That's a specific pledge to make that attacks the administrative state. And let me applaud some of the business partners who are here that have had success in business. But let me tell you, I've been a federal prosecutor. I've served our country in terms of being head of the DEA, in Homeland Security, in times of crisis. And while I think that that's experience that is important for the future of our country, to be the President of the United States that can lead with positive solutions and be held accountable.
thank you. We have a lot of topics to get
Just
to.
made
I
it.
promise we're going to get to everyone if we play within the rules. Okay, next topic. More than 1,000 people are still unaccounted for in Maui after the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century. Hawaii's governor and White House officials said that climate change amplified the cost of human error.
And a tropical storm hit California for the first time in 84 years. The ocean hit 101 degrees off the coast of Florida. And in the the last month, the heat wave in the Southwest broke records nearly 50 years old.
So Alexander Diaz from Young America's Foundation has a question.
It's really hot this summer. It's a hot one.
Polls consistently show that young people's number
I
one
agree.
issue is climate change. How will you, as both President of the United States and leader of the Republican Party, calm their fears that the Republican Party doesn't care about climate change?
Did they say young people said that's the number one issue? I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, a lot of young people believe that climate change is more important than crime and healthcare, jobs, you name it. Climate change is, I mean, it's important, but it's not the number one issue in this country right now, or even in the world. Like, it's just not. And I can come up with many reasons why that is. I'm not sure if he said young people said that or just like in general, Americans believe that's the number one issue, but either way, it's not.
So we want to start on this with a show of hands. Do you believe in human behavior is causing climate change? Raise your hand if you do.
Look, we're not school children. Let's have the debate. I mean, I'm happy to take it to start. Alexander, so do you want to raise your hand? I don't think that's the way to do. So let me just say to Alexander this. First of all, one of the reasons our country's decline is because of the way the corporate media treats Republicans versus Democrats. Biden was on the beach while those people were suffering. He was asked about it. He said, no comment. Are you kidding me? As somebody that's handled disasters in Florida, you got to be activated. You got to be there. You got to be present. You got to be helping people who are doing this. And here's the deal.
So is that a yes? Or is that a yes? Is that a hand raise?
You do not.
I think it was a hand raise for him, and it's my hands in my pockets.
No. I
Climate
raised
change
it. I
is a
raised it.
hoax. Let us be honest as Republicans. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax. And we have to declare independence. And the reality is, the anti...
Okay, yeah, now the Democrats are all for, you know, stopping climate change and going to these, what are those meetings called? The gosh, my memory's failing me right now. But you know, those annual meetings, or like, I don't know how often they hold them, those meetings that they talk about climate change and other things about the earth and things like that. What is it? The summit? Is it the G20 summit? I don't think that's it. I think that maybe something else. I don't know. I forgot, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So yeah, Democrats they believe in climate change strongly. They talk about it all the time about, like, you know, that's why we have the Green New Deal from Ocasio-Cortez and from the other Democrats, and like green this and green that, and yeah. And on the other side, Republicans, they, as this I'm gonna mess up his name, the candidate who's talking now, it starts with a V, but the guy who believes in, you know, the fracking and the drilling and the oiling and the nuclear, he's definitely not like, and he just said he believes climate change is a quote unquote hoax, which is not, it's not the number one issue, but it's definitely a real issue in this country and in this world, no doubt about it. You know, due to human actions mostly. Yeah, the Republicans, they don't really take climate change that seriously, as opposed to the Democrats who do. So yeah, that's the difference between, you know, the party beliefs on climate change. But I disagree with him when he said it's a hoax. It's not a hoax. It's very real. Now I can get into what the Bible says about what's going to happen to our planet that some people may attribute to climate change, but it's actually the judgment of God. Like, there's going to be things happening in the heavens and on the earth, and just, you know, things that people may say, oh, it's, you know, due to climate change, but it's due to the judgment of an angry God. But anyways, it's not a hoax. I disagree with him on that. Okay.
Carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. And so the reality is more people are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of actual climate change.
Governor Haley, are you bought and paid for?
Down by
Hold on.
90% in the last
Listen.
Wait,
Hold on.
I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here. And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
What's he doing there? What's Christy doing there? Say the same thing. What's he doing on the stage?
Hold on. Governor Haley, would you like to respond? Are you
So,
bought
Brett,
and paid
what I
for?
would like to say is the fact that I think this is exactly why Margaret Thatcher said, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. First of all, we do care about clean air, clean water. We want to see that taken care of, but there's a right way to do it. And the right way to do it is, first of all, yes, is climate change real? Yes, it is. But if you want to go and really change the environment, then we need to start telling China and India that they have to lower their emissions. That's where our problem is. And these green subsidies that Biden has put in, all he's done is help China.
So I do agree there when she talked about China and India, because the data does show that they're the biggest emitters of carbon dioxide emissions. They're the biggest contributors to climate change right now, and they refuse to lower their emissions. And so people keep, pointing the finger to us and pointing the finger to other developed countries, when these countries are they're the biggest emitters of contributing to climate change, more than us or other countries. Because they're underdeveloped, that's why they rely more on these ways of producing energy, because they're trying to become developed countries, and they believe they can't do that without without what they're doing. But that they refuse. I agree with her on that. If people point the finger at us, they need to also point the finger at China and India and tell them to also lower their emissions, which they are refusing to do still. Okay.
Doesn't understand all these electric vehicles that he's done, what that done. Half of the batteries for electric vehicles are made in China. And so that's not helping the environment. You're putting money in China's pocket, and Biden did that. So first of all, I think we need to acknowledge the truth, which is these subsidies are not working. We also need to take on the international world and say, okay, India and China, you've got to stop polluting, and that's when we'll start to deal with
Senator Scott, are you bought and paid for?
Absolutely.
Are you bought and paid for?
Sorry, are you bought? Absolutely not. I mean, here's what the American people deserve: is a debate about the issues that affect their lives. Going back and forth and being childish is not helpful to the American people to decide on the next leader of our country. Number one, wait a second. And number two, as a kid who grew up in a single-parent household mired in poverty, I wondered, was the American dream real for kids who were devastated by poverty, devastated by the challenges of life? I came to the conclusion that America can do for anyone what she's done for me if we focus on restoring hope, creating opportunities, and protecting America. If we want the environment to be better, and we all do, the best thing to do is to bring our jobs home from China. If we create 10 million new jobs in my Made in America plan, we will have a better economy and a better environment. Let me tell you why I say that, Brett.
Made in America plan. That sounds very familiar. that that's definitely not that definitely didn't come from President Trump. Definitely not. That came from Tim Scott first.
America has cut. I'm a Southern boy and talk slow. So America.
30 seconds.
That was quick.
That's it.
America has cut our carbon footprint in half in the last 25 years. The places where they are continuing to increase: Africa, 950 million people; India, over 1 billion; China, over 1 billion. Why would we put ourselves at a disadvantage, devastating our own economy? Let's bring our jobs home.
We have a lot of different topics to get to.
Yeah, we do. We thank you all.
So, outsourcing, I believe that's the term for it, when they take your jobs overseas. So I guess that's what he's saying, Tim Scott. Stop the outsourcing our jobs and to bring them back home. So yeah, I've heard that argument before. I agree with that. It's fair.
Senator Scott, so coming up next, the candidates will weigh in on what could be a defining issue in the 2024 campaign. The first Republican debate continues moments away.
Yeah. See what we're gonna talk about next. I forgot because this is my second time watching this.
A lot smarter in how we talk about women and how we show them that we care.
Okay. Commentary. Let's skip the commentary. Go back to the debate. Don't have time for that. Commercials too. Okay, maybe this isn't 2 hours long. Maybe that's just the ads and commentary. All right, here we go.
Abortion has been a losing issue for Republicans since the Dobbs decision. In 6 state referendums, all have upheld abortion rights in this country. And even in red states, there are more swing state referendums that are coming up as we head into the elections as well on this. So, Governor Haley, what do you say to your party and to your state, which today confirmed a 6-week abortion law as well, especially the impact on women suburban voters across this country?
Thank you, Martha. I am unapologetically pro-life, not because the Republican Party tells me to be, but because my husband was adopted and I had trouble with both of my children. So
I'm sorry, I spaced out. I need to go back to the question. I missed the question. Sorry. I space out sometimes. My fault. Okay, here we go.
Since the Dobbs decision, in 6 state referendums, all have upheld abortion rights in this country. And even in red states, there are more swing state referendums that are coming up as we head into the elections as well on this. So, Governor Haley, what do you say to your party and to your state, which today confirmed a 6-week abortion law as well, especially the impact on women suburban voters across this country?
Thank you, Martha. I am unapologetically pro-life, not because the Republican Party tells me to be, but because my husband was adopted and I had trouble having both of my children, so I'm surrounded by blessings. Having said that, we need to stop demonizing this issue. This is talking about the fact that unelected justices didn't need to decide something this personal, because it's personal for every woman and man. Now it's been put in the hands of the people. That's great. When it comes to a federal ban, let's be honest with the American people and say it will take 60 Senate votes. It will take a majority of the House. So in order to do that, let's find consensus. Can't we all agree that we should ban late-term abortions? Can't we all agree that we should encourage adoptions? Can't we all agree that doctors and nurses who don't believe in abortion shouldn't have to perform them? Can't we all agree that contraception should be available? And can't we all agree that we are not going to put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty?
Okay. Contraception. I am against wait, hold on. Like, is she talking about birth control pills? That's a form of contraception. Hold on, let me make sure I got my definition right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get right back to the video. I agree with everything up to that point. The deliberate use of artificial methods or other techniques to prevent pregnancy as a consequence of sexual intercourse. So yeah, I was right. Birth control, other methods. So yeah. No, that's I don't agree with her with that. I'm against abortion. I'm against contraceptives too, because like it's unnatural. If you're going to have sex before marriage, if you're just gonna hook up with random people and just have sex and just like, you know, be totally uncaring of the consequences, be totally reckless with your body and with somebody else's body, then I mean, you can't like stop the natural way of things just because you made a foolish decision. So like if you become pregnant, then you just have to carry that child to term, because that's the decision that you made. Like you can't start taking birth control and these because that's I don't want to speak on things that I'm not too educated about. Like I've never been on birth control, so I really don't know how that works. I guess that's something I would have to look up maybe for part 2. I don't know. But it's not natural, because pregnancy, that's a natural thing. And if people were like going about sex the right way, which is waiting until marriage, waiting until, you know, that's the right time, just not doing it, just like, because sex is, you know, the Bible says it's a sacred thing. So and you know, people don't treat it that way now. They don't treat their bodies, they don't treat sex as like this holy sacred union between two people. Now it's just like a free for all, and that's how abortions happen. So yeah, I just, you know, pregnancy, there's nothing wrong with pregnancy, but there is something, so like there's no reason to prevent something as natural as pregnancy. That's wrong too. Is it as wrong as abortion? Like I said, I don't really know how birth control works. I don't know like the science behind it, but I believe it is still wrong, because it's not natural to prevent pregnancy just because you did something foolish. If you didn't have sex in the first place when, you know, when it wasn't the right time, that there would be no purpose, no use of taking any contraceptive to prevent something as natural as pregnancy. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that right. I hope I did, but that's my take on it. And now back to the video.
Penalty if she gets an abortion. Let's treat this like a respectful issue that it is, and humanize the situation and stop demonizing the situation.
Vice President Pence, Governor DeSantis, you signed a 6-week abortion ban in Florida.
We do need to demonize abortion, because it's immoral. Like, how can you be a Republican against abortion and then say like don't demonize it, humanize it? Well, what about humanizing like the baby that's being aborted? We don't do that unless we demonize abortion in the first place. That's how that has to work. In order for there to be an actual ban on abortion, that's the kind of mindset that we have to have. So yes, we do have to demonize the act itself. Maybe she's talking about like not demonizing the mother or not demonizing those who choose to support abortion. I don't know, but as far as abortion itself, we do need to demonize that act. Absolutely, killing an unborn child or like killing a child that's like almost fully developed or whatever you call it, like a fetus that's almost fully developed. I'm sorry, I'm just we do need to demonize that.
One of your biggest financial backers said that you need to, quote, shift to get moderates or you will lose. What do you say to him and others who say politically that is a tough thing to sell nationally?
Well, I would say we sold the biggest election landslide victory in the history of the Republican Party in the state of Florida in 2022. That's what I did. We can win. But second of all, look, you got to do what you think is right. I believe in a culture of life. I was proud to sign the heartbeat bill. I remember one of the most impactful moments of my life was when I heard the heartbeat of my oldest daughter in my wife's womb and then saw the sonograms of all three of my kids. What the Democrats are trying to do on this issue is wrong, to allow abortion all the way up to the moment of birth. I know a lady in Florida named Penny. She survived multiple abortion attempts. She was left discarded in a pan. Fortunately, her grandmother saved her and brought her to a different hospital. We're better than what the Democrats are selling. We are not going to allow abortion all the way up till birth, and we will hold them accountable for their extremism.
But just to be clear.
Okay, so we're closing in on an hour here. I'm just going to pause it there. I decided that I'm going to do 2 parts to this video, just so it's not like one long video. Because I did notice my shorter videos like get more views. So just to be fair to you guys, and I'm just gonna do this in parts. So we're still not even halfway into this video, surprisingly. It's just like 34 minutes into the debate. Still got like over an hour to go, so I don't know how many parts it's gonna be, but if it's several parts, that's fine. Like I'm having fun discussing this debate and like listening to it with you guys. But before I end the video, and we're gonna pick it back off with this candidate talking about abortion. So for those who don't know, the heartbeat bill, I believe it was they signed the bill saying that it's illegal to have an abortion on a baby. Like once you start to like see their heartbeat, then you can't terminate the baby, the pregnancy. You can't terminate the, what am I trying to say? You can't terminate the baby. I'm trying to like, I don't know what to say, fetus or baby. You can't like kill the baby if there's a heartbeat there, because that means it's alive, it can feel, and all that. So that's what the heartbeat bill, I believe that's what it is. So yeah, he's for that, and I'm for that too. I'm for like, let me also add my stance on abortion. I believe there absolutely should be a federal ban. Supreme Court left it up to the states. So that means that if one state wants to have abortion, they can. If one state doesn't want to, they don't have to. I believe there should be a federal ban all across the board. No abortion. Abortion should be legal like it used to be in the past. Before Roe versus Wade. So that's what we need to get back to. But yeah, I agree with the heartbeat bill. Pregnancy, baby should not be terminated that late into that stage. So yeah, I believe there should be a federal ban. And yeah, that's it. Like abortion needs to be banned altogether. Like late abortions, all kinds of abortions. It should be illegal to kill an unborn child or to kill like a child that's close to developing the so yeah, it should be illegal all across the board. All right, so I'm gonna leave it here, and next is part 2.